Hello, welcome to episode 128 of Your Ultimate Comeback. I'm your host, Brad, and we apologize Raquel couldn't be with us today. Her daughter, Quinn, has an AVP qualifier at the beach going on right now as we're recording, and kids are always more important than work in our world. So it's just me today. I have a great guest with us I'm excited to interview. His name is Jason Geis. He's a former pro baseball player turned serial entrepreneur. He was drafted by the Cleveland Indians out of high school. He chose college instead, becoming a 1990 All-American at the University of Portland, a three-time All-Pac-10 honoree, and an inductee in the school's Athletic Hall of Fame. He went on to sign with the Oakland A's and hit .311 in pro ball. At 30, Jason brought that competitive drive to Silicon Valley. He founded Blue Chip Tech, scaled it to nearly $100 million before selling, then followed it with CloudWorks, a Google Cloud AI partner that earned Google Partner of the Year honors twice. Now Jason is building ProLete Labs, and this is what I'm most excited to explore with him today. A premium all-natural protein company already trusted by Olympians, top college programs, and pro athletes. He joins me today to talk performance, nutrition, leadership, and what it really takes to compete at the highest level in sports, in business, and in life. Jason, thanks for joining me, man. Excited to do this with you.
Thanks, Brad. It's great to be here.
Yeah. Jason and I actually go way back. We met years and years ago at one of my speaking events, and so I've worked with you. I've worked with your kids over the years. He has two stud kids. His son plays baseball at Loyola Marymount. His daughter's a stud soccer player. She's at Santa Clara now. Santa Clara now, yeah. Was that UCLA before that?
Yep, transfer portal, NIL.
Oh,
life is good.
Yeah, life is very good for college athletes this day and age. Yep. So, really excited to sit down and talk with you a little bit. Really excited to explore ProLete with you. But before we get into that, I want to get into your background a little bit because you got a pretty fascinating story. All right, so I got some good questions to ask you leading up to you bringing ProLete to the table for athletes and just people in general. Let's see. So you were drafted by the Cleveland Indians straight out of high school. What was going through your head when that call came, and what made you turn it down for college? That's every kid's dream.
It's so funny. It was a different time back then, right? I mean, you probably get a text or something today, and, it's funny. You sit by the phone, and then you get a call and say, hey, this is so-and-so at the Cleveland Indians. We drafted you in the 21st round. Congratulations. And, this is a couple of years ago, so they come to your house, and it's not the big signing bonus that you get today. So it was great. I stayed in contact with that scout, and one of the things I'm proud of is Dave Roberts. He was the 1-1 out of actually Oregon. Was the first guy I picked a long time ago. And so I like to say, the scout that drafted me with Cleveland and signed me with Oakland was actually a pretty good player. And so I stayed in contact with him. He transferred over to Oakland and then signed me out of college. So that was a lot of fun.
Oh, nice. It's funny. A lot of 18-year-olds would sign on the spot. You get drafted to the pros, we're signing and rolling. What did choosing the long game teach you that you still lean on today?
To see some of these kids go out of high school at 18 years old and go and compete, I think is really hard. And I had the support of my parents. I had a good scholarship offer at University of Portland that was worth a lot of money from a financial standpoint on an annual basis. And we just sat down and looked at it. And, my parents said, we really want you to go to school. If you go to school and do well and get bigger and stronger, then let's get an education and then you can sign after that. And it really played out perfectly. I mean, that was the goal. Yeah. We went to Portland. I played right away as a freshman, was able to contribute, went to a couple NCAA tournaments. And I look back at my college memories and I wouldn't change a thing. It was such a blessing.
Yeah. Are you from the Pacific Northwest originally?
Yeah, from Vancouver, Washington. So
really?
Right across the river. So.
Oh man, we grew up an hour from each other.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, so you were used to playing in the rain.
Yeah.
That's the hard part for these SoCal kids. They go up to the Pacific Northwest to play ball, and it's cold and wet and rainy, and it's a little tougher on them.
That's right.
Yeah. It's funny. People romanticize. Parents of kids, especially today, romanticize about their kids playing pro ball. Kids romanticizing about playing pro ball. What's the part that fans don't see?
Oh, man, it's a grind. My son plays at Loyola, and they play 3 or 4 or 5 times a week. Now, I get it. They're going to school and stuff. But when you're in the minors, you're playing almost every day. And you have long bus rides. The food wasn't great back then. I mean, back then we were making $800 a month. And so we're just trying to break even. Now that it's down to 20 rounds, the guys are getting paid more, and it's a lot better in the minors. But, I mean, it's a grind. There's always your hamstring sore, your elbow sore. There's always something. But there's always a couple people in every position. So, you want to play and you want to play well. And, if you start playing well and get on a streak, then you're going to play. If you don't, then you're going to watch for a while. So you always want to be ready no matter what, even if it's that next day after a 10-hour bus ride, whatever it takes to get on the field.
Yeah, I love it. What did you learn about yourself when you were fighting for a roster spot that wasn't guaranteed?
Oh, man, there's a lot, from a fortitude, perseverance standpoint. You really got to love the game, and you got to love the game and love your teammates. And it's interesting, there's so many correlations between sports and business. And a lot of the people that I've worked with in Silicon Valley and then what we're doing now with ProLete are ex-athletes, the athletes that know how to prepare, how to get ready, how to work hard, how to grind it out, how to take failure.
Yeah.
I mean, I had 311, so I failed 7 out of 10 times, and still that was pretty good. So
that's my favorite part about baseball is 30% and you're an all-star. Yeah, that's great. So you've built championship cultures in the dugout and boardrooms. What translates directly, and what surprised you about how different they are, sports and business?
A lot of the people that I've hired have come from the sporting world. Our co-founder at ProLete, an amazing story. So a kid out of Shane Smith played football at Los Gatos High School, went to San Jose State, was an undrafted free agent, ends up making the New York Giants.
Oh, wow.
And so, he takes someone's job.
Yeah.
Plays with Eli, plays with Odell, plays with Saquon Barkley and all those guys. Then he was a fullback, so he probably played like 15 plays a game. But his work ethic was amazing. He goes to the combine and does, 225, 37 times and just blew it away. And so when I met Shane in the gym, we started talking and like, I want this kid to work for me in high tech in the last company that we built.
Yeah.
And he just outworked everyone just from a work ethic standpoint, camaraderie, getting along with people, relationships. I mean, there's so many things I think that correlate from an athlete being on the field and being part of a team that then goes into the business world and being a good teammate in business.
Yeah. One thing I like about the athletes in the business world is they're used to working when no one's watching. Like that part doesn't bother them because they're used to it. Like they understand you got to grind when no one's paying attention, no one's glamorizing it, no one's, shouting your praises. Your time to shine is going to be small windows of time, and they're used to that. They're comfortable with that. I've always liked that about the athletes. The non-athletes, they want praise for everything. Not all of them, but a lot of them. They want to be praised for every step of the process. And I found myself with athletes, like they enjoy the grind. They're used to the grind. They're used to kind of doing stuff on their own in the shadows and then getting their opportunity periodically.
No, I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, we work with some of the top salespeople in the world back in the day at Cisco and Dell. And it was interesting because you would see the ex-athletes and the people that weren't the ex-athletes, they would get to their number and then they would coast a little bit. And you'd see the ex-athletes, they would get to their number and then they would be motivated to get to 200%, to 300%. And it just seems like in general, those were the people that really overachieved and crushed it and went to President's Club and went to all the different things. Because of what you said, they had that work ethic. Yeah. They weren't just happy to get to their number 100% of their quota. They wanted to get to 200%. They wanted to get to 300%.
All that competitive drive.
Yeah.
Yeah. I work with a lot of CEOs. I've talked to a lot of CEOs, spoke to a lot of CEOs. They all talk culture, but rarely can they define it. How do you set culture as the leader in your companies?
We talk a lot about character, integrity. There's a number of things. I think as you grow and scale as an organization, you have to put together umbrella statements and mission, like this is who we are and this is what we do, right? We do the right thing. We do the right thing when no one's looking. We do the right thing. We talk about Nick Saban a lot, right? How do you police ourselves? If the executives aren't around, like, are we doing the right thing? Are we doing the right thing for our customer? Are we doing the right thing for all the employees? Like, are we always doing the right thing? And so I think initially as you start a company, you have to set the foundation and goals like, who are we? What do we stand for? And I really liked a lot of the stuff that Saban put together at Alabama.
Yeah.
And then from there, as you grow, if people, it's an unemotional thing. If people don't fit that culture, if they don't treat people right, if they're not a good team player, if they're not, then it just becomes an emotional thing. Like, these are our core values. This is what we do. Obviously, this isn't a good place for you. And I've been around a lot of people in Silicon Valley. I mean, Tom Mendoza was one of the best speakers. He wrestled at Notre Dame and was the president of Network Appliance. And he was amazing on setting culture. And he would talk about people that get you to a certain point and then people that get you to the next point. And, it's not always the same people. Some people want to keep that same small culture. Some people want to grow with you. And so it's dynamic. I think if you have the athletes as the core around it, though, people like Shane that have went from high school to college and then played with world-class people, they can grow and change with you. And then you set those umbrella things that we talk about in our offsites as far as treating people right and core values and stuff like that. And then we joke around about sales things like how do you have as much sense of urgency as possible. We joke around and say different things like, okay, go out. How do you make a baby in 4 months, right? How do you shorten sales cycle? How do you do stuff faster? How do you get things done? and so we always want that sense of urgency because we're never comfortable. A deal's never done or it's until we sell the company, it's not over. So
yeah. So at 30 years old, you decided to go to Silicon Valley to compete. Of all places you could go, right? So you start Blue Chip Tech at 30. You have no tech background. You decide to go to Silicon Valley with no tech background. Where did the conviction come from to start that and to actually go compete in Silicon Valley?
It's interesting because I was in the marina in San Francisco, and I go to the gym. I meet a bunch of guys that are ex-athletes, and they're doing the high-tech thing. I'm like, wow, these guys are doing great. They're making a lot of money, and they're driving NASCAR. Like, I want to do this. And truth be told, I was in the right place at the right time. So I was very blessed and very fortunate. There was a lot of people that helped me along the way. But I met some of these guys, and so I got my first high-tech job. And I remember back then, I didn't know that much about it. I went to the library, and I bought some books, and it's like, computing 101. What is this high-tech thing? But I worked really hard and was in the right place at the right time and treated customers really well, started to get a customer base. And said, as an entrepreneur, I think I can do this and I think I can do it a little bit better. And that's how we started the first company.
Yeah.
And we took a bunch of customers with us and it went great. And, we built that to almost 100 million and was really proud of some of the customers we work with were some of the coolest customers in Silicon Valley. I mean, 15 years ago, Uber, eBay, Box, Dropbox, Hulu were some of the really cool brands out there that we were working with. And so I was super proud of that. We were selling fully configured racks before cloud. And then the whole cloud thing came. And I remember about 10 years ago, our customer said, hey, we're buying these fully configured racks from you. Amazon at the time, they're early adopters that came out. And they said, we can put it in the cloud. We can scale it up and scale it down. And we might not need to buy as many racks from you. And we're like, oh, this could be a problem. So we packaged it up and sold it and lived a 2-year earnout and learned a ton. And it was a great event.
Yeah. So you went from that tech company, started another tech company.
Yeah, there's cycles, right? And so a ton of respect for the guys that bought us at the first one. We lived a 2-year earnout, made sure everything went smooth. And then we got to a point where we said, gosh, we have all these contacts and relationships. People used to have their own data centers. They don't as much now. How do you monetize, what we have with these relationships, these people, these leaders in Silicon Valley? And so we looked around and we said, we're in Silicon Valley. Google was a smaller player at the time, but debatably the best technology. So Amazon and Microsoft had their partner channels built out, where Google had really good technology, but they didn't have the partner channel built out as much. And so we said, gosh, if we bring all these contacts and relationships, we could be very relevant to Google in Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
And so the thesis really played out. I mean, Google doubled down on us. We brought them a ton of business. They were very good to us. And within the first 5 years, we're a 2-time partner of the year in North America with Google Cloud. And it was pretty impressive what we pulled off.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So you make your run in tech, and then you decide to start a protein company. That is like as far opposite as you can go. What led you into the whole protein powder realm?
I've probably tried every protein powder in the industry, just like you, right? I've been working out since, and been thinking about doing stuff like this since I was in high school playing professional baseball and just saying, gosh, this stuff is good, but I can probably make something better if I had the right resources and people. And so I had been joking around about doing it for years, since 30 years ago when I was playing college. Like, there's got to be something better. And I'd always kind of worked on it aside. It's kind of been a hobby. And then finally got to a point where, got together with some of the right people, a chief product officer. And, it took us, a number of revisions to get this down.
Yeah.
But the thesis was, how do you get it to taste like cake batter? How do you get it like really good ingredients, 100% natural, that high school and college kids are going to like?
Yeah.
And the feedback has been great. We're at 26 revisions. Now we're at 27. And the last one, some of the college kids said, I want a little bit more honey and a little bit more salt, and then it'll taste like cake batter. And so it continues to get better every time, but the feedback's been phenomenal.
Yeah. I remember being young when first getting into protein powders. and we try to mix it with water, and it's so clumpy you'd throw up.
Yeah.
It was so bad. It's come so far.
Yeah.
But I think it's funny that you go to Silicon Valley to compete, in the world of tech, and then you come into the world of fitness, health, nutrition, and you decide to go and compete with protein powder. That's a tough one to compete in.
In a completely different world, right? I mean, with social media and stuff now,
Yeah.
God, it's so much different than when we were growing up. And so, being proficient in Instagram, and it was amazing because we have a big partner now that we're going to start to work with to manufacture the protein. And I did a tour up in Valencia last week. Really impressive. I mean, these guys make some of the protein for the biggest brands in the industry. And I was amazed because we're doing a lot on Instagram. We're starting to do a lot on TikTok. And I asked them, and at this point, 65% of the business that comes in is on TikTok now. And so just to see how fast and the evolution of social media and how everything's changing is really cool. But some of the athletes that we have behind it, I mean, they've got 5, 10, 15,000 followers. Some of the Olympic athletes have hundreds of thousands of followers. And some of the pro athletes have a lot. I was hanging out with some of the guys that have hundreds of thousands of followers, and so it's really fun.
Yeah. They have a lot of influence. It's incredible to watch.
It is. It's the new currency.
It is. It's incredible to watch.
Yeah.
The more eyeballs you have on you, the more valuable you definitely are in this world. One of the things I love, so I absolutely love your product. So you gave me some a week ago to try before we had the podcast, and just asked me, try it, give me your honest feedback. And my first take when I looked at it was like, oh, the ingredients are great, like super clean ingredients. I really liked it. But in my head, I'm thinking, okay, clean ingredients like this, and you're telling me it tastes like cake batter. So clean ingredients taste great. They don't go hand in hand in this world. No. How in the world did you and your partner, Tony, fix that?
It took a number of revisions. It did not happen overnight.
Yeah.
And, we listened to college kids, and they said, it's got to taste incredible, or else they wouldn't eat it, because some of them are finicky, especially my daughter Jordan. And so, every time we'd iterate, get some feedback. The last time, a little bit more honey, a little bit more salt. And we finally think, we got to a point now, we'll continue to get better. It's not the last one.
Yeah.
But with all the feedback, it's got to a point now where the feedback's been awesome. And I think there's a lot of protein out there. The thing that this is a foundational product, a foundational fruit, that the strength and conditioning guys love it because you can add other things to it. You can add granola, you can add cottage cheese. I love to eat ice cream. I have a sweet tooth. And at night, I just have this with a little bit of cottage cheese, and it's 35 grams of protein, 2 grams of sugar, and I'm good. I'm much healthier. I lost 10 pounds. I feel great.
Yeah. Well, and it talks about here being a protein pudding and shake mix. So the first time I just went home and made a shake with it.
Yeah.
Passed the taste test very quickly. I was impressed by that. But I one of the biggest struggles I've had in the protein powder realm is I want to mix it with some food for a quick, easy meal. Like try to mix it with oatmeal or something, and it was always horrible, very powdery, would never mix well. So I took your protein. I follow Shane on Instagram, I watched him make the pudding. Literally, so I just put 2 scoops of protein powder in. I put a third a cup of some milk in there, and just stirred it up. And I'm like, there's no way this is gonna mix up. And within about a minute, it was perfect pudding. Yeah. So I added in some Greek yogurt and some berries because I like to have a snack like that before bed, and it was phenomenal. Even my 11-year-old son that is hardcore against protein powders, I didn't tell him it was protein powder. I told him it was pudding. And he's like, oh, this is really good. What is this? And I showed him. He's like, it's protein powder. I'm like, yeah, and you liked it. Yeah. But I'm super impressed by that. And why is because I work with so many high school athletes that want to put weight on. And they just do not eat enough food. Yeah. And, I'm trying to get them to slam more shakes. I want them to eat more food and mix it up. So I'm really excited for the high school, the college kids that need to eat more. They're not hungry. It's a really easy way to get more food down. So thank you for that. I think it's huge that you guys went and attacked that market. Because that is the hardest thing to do when you're working with athletes. I get why all these college strength coaches, high school strength coaches are super interested in this stuff, because that's the biggest thorn in our side with younger athletes. They all want to train hard. They all do all their skill work, all that stuff. But you get them to sit down and eat, it is really hard. It
really is, yeah. We're dealing with some of the top strength and conditioning coaches in high school. Both my kids went to Archbishop Mitty. And so, for the strength and conditioning coaches to come back and say, this is awesome. I need to put 5, 10, 15 pounds on either this football player or this basketball, the girl, or soccer. Yeah. My daughter Jordan plays at a high level and, would like to gain another couple pounds of muscle. The girls play hard. They play really aggressive, especially at that level. And so to have the strength and conditioning strength and conditioning guys come back to us and say, this is awesome. I haven't had a protein foundational product that I can give to the kids, and then they put other oatmeal or granola and other things in.
Yeah.
And they're pushing it for the kids now at morning and at night, and then during the day at workout as well.
Yeah.
And the results have been fantastic. And so, we're really excited about it. I mean, I use it every day. Shane's got 2 kids, a 2 and a 4-year-old that are finicky eaters. This is their pudding. He tells them that it's really protein.
I saw his little video clip of his 2.5-year-old hitting the ball off the tee. That was funny.
Yeah.
It was funny. So one of the programs I was really impressed by that you're working with already is UCLA Baseball. So they've been ranked number 1 in the country pretty much all season, right? And you got a number of those guys using ProLete. How did you come up with that partnership? Like, that's a huge partnership.
No, it's been great. Jordan went there for a couple of years and had a great time at UCLA. So, can't say enough good things about UCLA. But I knew one of the kids growing up that's actually one of the top pitchers there now. And this kid's going to be a big leaguer. He's legitimate. But he's still growing into his body. He's 6'5", and he's getting bigger and stronger. And, so we had some contacts with Jordan there, and then we had some contacts with some of the people that I knew. And then my son was on USA Baseball, and so he knew some of those guys. And once the guys start to taste it and start to use it, then it's like game over. They just want more and more.
Yeah.
And so the product is so good. We're so blessed that, once they start to use it, then they just want to continue to. So it's all about contacts and relationships. I just check in with a lot of the guys that I either played with or against, or now with both kids. One was on USA Soccer, one was on USA Baseball. They're giving it to their friends. Yeah. And once they try it, then they start to order it and order it and order it again.
Yeah. So as soon as you have a high-level athlete tries your product for the first time, Olympian, pro athletes, high-level college athlete, what's the reaction you hear most?
They're surprised at how good it tastes.
Yeah.
Because if they're my friend, they're like, all right, I'm going to try it for you. We've known each other for a long time, but it's not going to taste that good. Yeah. And then they do it, and it's great. I was on the phone with, I did a video call with Andre Berto yesterday, 2-time world champ from a boxing standpoint. And he's like, oh, Jay, this is good. And he had his 2 little kids there. I don't know, probably 2 and 4. And like, hey, try this. And the kids are like, this is like cake batter. Yeah. And so it was awesome.
I think it's funny. I think little kids are the best ones to test this stuff on. That's why I was shocked. My son, but I didn't tell him because if I would have told him what it was, he wouldn't even tried it. Yeah. He's like, what are you eating? I'm like, oh, it's just pudding. Yeah, he loved it. Yeah. And he was shocked when I told him it was protein powder. He's like, I'll have that one, Dad.
Yeah, all natural.
I want a few questions for you about athletes. Yeah. For young athletes. So for the talented young athlete listening, what's the one thing they're probably getting wrong about nutrition, in your opinion?
I think a lot of the kids work hard today, my kids included, and you don't get the right macros. I'm sure, you see this as much, right?
Oh, yeah.
The high school kids working out really hard, not knowing when to eat, what to eat, how much to eat, etc. And the thing that's really tough is these kids are working really hard, but if you don't eat enough, you're not really taking full advantage of the workouts. Yeah. And you're not getting bigger and stronger. And size and strength matters. Yes. If you want to play in college, it's a very big physical game. And so, that's been the fun thing is if we can get it in the kids' hands. And then some of the college kids, it's amazing. Soccer and baseball, Jordan and UCLA being in the Big Ten, they would play on Thursday and Sunday. And so they would leave on Tuesday to go to Rutgers or Michigan or Ohio State and then not come back until Sunday night or Monday. And so you're on the road like that. It's really hard to keep the muscle mass you've worked so hard for. And so to take one of the pouches with them and just you can always get water or milk. Yeah. And to get an extra, 60 to 80 grams of protein with good carbs and good fats throughout the day really help them maintain the muscle. Because I know when I was in the minors, I went in at like 210 when I signed. At the end of that summer, I was probably close to 195. It was hard on the road, traveling, getting the macros, working so hard. And so I think that's the biggest thing is a lot of the kids work hard today, but how do you get the right macros to really not only sustain, but to continue to get bigger and stronger, especially in today's game? Yeah, it's a lot of food. It's a lot of food. It's really, and their appetite levels are not at a level where it's easy to get them to consume that amount. Yeah. Yeah. You talk to the kids, how many of them really know, let's for argument's sake, say you're a 200-pound baseball player or football, whatever it is. Yeah. So what is that, approximately 200 grams of protein a day, give or take?
Yeah, at least.
Yeah, and if you want to grow and get bigger,
You're going to have to go a little above that.
so how do you get that? A bunch of chicken breasts, a bunch like how do you get that?
Well, yeah, I mean, do the math. You figure 4 ounces of chicken breast, I think, is about 25, 30 grams of protein. That's a lot of chicken breasts, right? One egg has 6 grams of protein in it.
Right.
Like you start adding it up, it's really hard.
It is.
It's really hard. That's where I think things like this come into play really well. One other, I want to highlight this for a lot of our listeners because one other idea I had after I took this was people on GLPs. It's like semaglutide, tirzepatide, retatrutide.
Yeah.
They constantly hear how important protein intake is, but a lot of times it suppresses appetite a little bit. This is a really nice addition if you're taking a GLP to get more protein in because it tastes good. You can eat it. You don't have to slam it as a shake. It tastes good. So it's going to be palatable. So as I was taking, I'm like, oh, every person on a GLP needs to check this out as well.
Yeah.
And knowing that it's such high quality for athletes, because one of the issues you see with people on GLPs is they're not getting enough nutrients in.
Yeah.
So it is more than just protein, which is what I really liked about it. But that was one thought I had for my listeners, listen for your kids. But if you're on the GLP and you're trying to find ways to get more protein in, I would take a stab at this because it's a nice little treat at night before bed, in my opinion.
Yeah, especially if you put cottage cheese or other things in it that's additional. And then last night I put some honey on top, and it's like, oh man, so it's like a dessert. So it was awesome.
Yeah, it's so good. It's so good. What would you tell a high school athlete who thinks all supplements and shakes are basically the same?
I toured one of the biggest facility labs on the West Coast last week, and I met with this guy that was the CEO of the company. And one of the reasons he wants to work with us is because of the macros, the nutrition that's in it, the ingredients. And so, from the start, that's what we wanted to make sure it was as clean as possible. Shane's got 2 kids that are 2 and 4, and he wants to be able to give it to his kids all the way up to high school, college, etc. And it's a testimony to us. I mean, when you have the strength and conditioning guys, and the first thing they do is turn around and look at the back, and they're like, wow, this is solid. I want to give this to my athletes.
Yeah.
There's ways that you can cut corners, and there's ways you can put other things in it to scale that aren't as good ingredients.
Yeah.
And we just said from the beginning, one of the theses of the company is we're going to have the most natural protein that's healthy with good fats and good carbs, because if you're working out, you need both good fats and good carbs.
Yeah.
As high a protein as possible that tastes good. And so, to get the strength and conditioning coaches behind it and really starting to do testimonials for us early on, and then some of the Olympic athletes, it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, and quality matters. And just give listeners an idea, it is made with grass-fed whey and grass-fed collagen peptides. Like that is the highest quality whey and the highest quality collagen peptides you can put into a product. So you guys spared no expense putting this thing together. And it was funny that when you first gave it to me, the first thing I did was turn it around and commented on the things that I really liked about it. So I believe for young athletes especially, quality matters. I see so many kids putting crap in their body or like cheap product or those weight gainer products and just bogging themselves down, plugging themselves up, jacking up their livers, just making everything super sluggish and going nowhere and affecting their athleticism because they're choosing cheap quality product, thinking it's nothing different than anything else. Quality, in my opinion, especially with supplementation and protein powder specifically, is absolutely critical if you want to experience positive return from them.
Yeah. No,
yeah.
100%. And I think that's why, we went to the event, the PAC event. Shane and I went a couple months ago in Phoenix. And so you have a bunch of really high-level professional athletes, NFL, MLB, et cetera. And there's a couple of Olympic athletes there. And we actually had a couple Olympic athletes look at it and say, wow, this is interesting. And it's really cool because the Olympic Games are going to be in LA in 28. Yeah. And so for us to start to work with some of these, most elite athletes in the world is really exciting. And they wouldn't do that unless they knew that the product was completely natural.
You have the PAC shirt on. What exactly is that?
Yeah, professional athletes community. It's awesome. So Shane got us into it because he played in the NFL. So you have to be an ex-professional athlete. So we went to it in Phoenix. God, it was about a couple months ago now. And it was incredible. I mean, this community of ex-professional athletes that are transitioning from being an athlete to, figuring out life after that and what they do next. And God, I met some great people. Tony Hills was there, one of my buddies. I mean, he won a national championship at Texas when they beat SC in one of the best college football games of all time.
Oh, my client and good friend Sam Baker was on the opposite side of the ball. He was with USC.
That was epic.
I remember that game.
Yeah, Vince Young's touchdown. And then he won a Super Bowl with Ben Roethlisberger with the Steelers. And so, Tony's been awesome about helping people transition from sports into, professional life. be a
I don't
good
think
business.
people understand how hard that is.
Yeah.
That's impressive. That's hard. That's this big time struggle I see a lot of my guys go through once they retire.
Yeah, Tony does some incredible podcasts in regards to helping people and what's, what are they passionate about? What do they get into? But he talks about, when the lights go out and you get called into the office, and at some point, unless we're Derek Jeter, that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Someone gets better, you get released. And that's a tough day. I'll never forget, call my parents and saying, I just got released. And so it happens. Then how do you transition? What do you do and get the right people around you? What are your interests and how do we help you? And it's just a great community, great group of people, very authentic. It was met a ton of great people.
Yeah. It's a complete loss of identity from what I've watched my guys go through.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, all around you, everybody's high-fiving you, everybody's your buddy, everybody wants to be your friend, and then it changes, and so
Phone goes quiet.
Yeah,
I remember one of my guys telling me when he was done, he got released. He was escorted out of the facility.
Yeah,
wasn't allowed to say goodbye to anyone. Wasn't even allowed to grab his stuff. They just escorted him out, put him out, locked him out. And he's like, him saying me, like, I gave up everything buying into this is my family. I put them in front of my own family. And you buy into that culture of like, nothing matters more than this family. And then the reality hit that I'm no longer good enough to qualify for that family. So I'm exiled.
Yeah.
It was so hard on him. And I never heard it put that way because you don't see that side of it. But you're right. Like, not everyone gets treated like Derek Jeter when it's over. A lot of guys, it's you're no longer valuable enough. Boom, you're gone. Bye-bye.
No, it's devastating. For me, it was the last cut at spring training one year, and I was doing well, and I was naive because no one wanted to get, hey, Lip wants to see you in the office, and I was doing well enough where it didn't register at first, and so I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I'm gonna get, where am I gonna get assigned? What's gonna happen? And so I go. I never forget. I go in, and he says, hey, come on and shut the door, and that's when it hit me. I'm like, my stomach just sank. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Like, hey, came down from above. Here's what's going on. Really, it's like Moneyball, right?
Yeah.
We got a ticket for you tonight, and they let me get my stuff and walk out and stuff. But no, it's a business, and it's tough. Your identity, you have to call your parents and stuff. It's a transition.
Yeah, it's tough. Most of us outside of the world of sports don't know that realm or that experience or that feeling. So I'm glad you shed a little light on it because I've seen guys go through some major emotional struggle post getting that call or getting released. If you could sit down with 18-year-old Jason who just got drafted by the Indians, what would you tell him?
Oh, man. I think my life was pretty blessed, and I think I made a lot of the right decisions on it. I would probably go back and have more fun. I took the game pretty serious because I really wanted to win and to just have some fun along. And having fun isn't taking it for granted or being lazy with it. It's just enjoying the moment. You never know. I get choked up here. My son is a senior at LMU, and they're really good last year. They almost went to the NCAA tournament. And this has been a little bit of a tougher year. And so you never know when the best moment. If you would have asked me, my best moment probably ever in college was our freshman year. We hadn't been to the NCAA tournament in a long time. And my freshman year, we're in the Pac-10 North tournament. I get the game-winning hit to send us to the college world regional tournament for the first time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is just great. This is how it's supposed to be. And, you never know when your best moment, your most fun. Yeah. How do you have fun with that? And we went to another NCAA tournament, but my funnest game in college was my freshman year, and you just don't know when you're going to get that back.
Yeah.
And so, work as hard as you can because tomorrow's not guaranteed, and then have some fun along the way and try to have a good time with your buddies and know it's not going to last forever.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest thing is, God, they're so blessed to play college and pro sports at a high level.
Yeah.
And the camaraderie that I have, I mean, I was texting some of my buddies. There's 5 or 6 of us that we played with at the University of Portland that still try to get together every other year. And the stories get better every year, right? We used to hit and do things. Now we can't even play catch anymore, but that camaraderie is the rest of your life.
That's the thing I miss most.
Yeah.
I didn't realize the brotherhood that you have with those teammates at that level, the things you're fighting for, once that goes away, it's pretty hard to find ever again in real life.
Yeah.
That's the thing I wish I would have enjoyed that more.
Yeah.
Because I thought like, the next realm in life is just gonna be another group like that. And the reality is you're not fighting for the same thing as you are in a group. Like I talk to my military guys, and especially the special forces guys. There's nothing that compares to those relationships because it was life or death.
Yeah.
And so I think those are super. So any athletes listening, like value your teammates, value that time with them, because once that's gone, it's and you get older into life, that daily camaraderie with your buddies, just screwing off and having a good time and teasing, it kind of goes away.
Yeah.
It's hard to find.
Yeah.
I love watching my kids because they're in the middle of it. They're enjoying all that, and so I get a little taste of it through them. But I that's the one thing I miss the most from high level sport. Was just how intense and how tight all the guys were.
No, that sense of I got your back. We're doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah. We set goals, and we knew what our goals were at University of Portland every year, and everyone on that team could articulate it. And we were blessed in 4 years. We went to 2 NCAA tournaments. Washington went to one. Washington State went to one. But in that 4-year span, in the Northwest, we could compete with anyone. And so it's fun to get together with those guys and have trips now and talk about some of those teams. We're proud of what we're able to accomplish. But tomorrow's not guaranteed. And my funnest game was as a freshman. And Jake's funnest game was last year when they went to the WCC tournament. Just had an amazing tournament. And you're not guaranteed tomorrow, so try to have fun along the way.
Love that advice. What does winning look like for ProLete in 5 years?
Oh man, we're having so much fun with it now. It's just we want to change the trajectory for some of these athletes. We really want to help, and it's more than just a protein. The more that we go about it, I have the relationship with some of these athletes, and Tony Hills texted me the other day. He's like, "Hey, have you ever put this in your coffee?" I'm like, no. He's like, put it in your coffee. And so now we're going to start to market it as kind of a coffee drink because I like my coffee and it makes it taste like cocoa.
Yeah.
So you have 20,
I never even thought about that.
20 grams of protein in my coffee in the morning.
Yeah.
And it tastes like cocoa. That's probably a problem because I probably drink way too much coffee now.
That's awesome.
But it just continues to go out. So, I think we want to be as impactful as possible to the athletes.
Yeah.
I want to do it with the right people. It's funny. I met Shane in the gym. My son, the guys at University of Portland have been great. The guys at Loyola have been great. I'm just having a ton of fun. And so, we want to impact people's lives in the right way. The people that help us and jump on board are going to have a fun ride and learn a lot and be part of a successful, another exit, fingers crossed, third exit.
You got that path down.
Yeah. But for the athletes, we really want to be impactful, right? We really want to have conversations where I gained 10 pounds and that enabled me to get drafted or that enabled me to play in the WCC or ACC or SEC or whatever it is. It's funny because I did a video with Tony Hills in Dallas a couple weeks ago and we were joking around. He's like, Jay, this is good. I'm going to go get my Super Bowl ring and put on my Steelers. And we did a video. And he's like, if I would have had this when I was playing, I would have won a Super Bowl. And so, just being able to impact people's lives in a positive way.
Yeah.
And build a community with people that, we really like and build something that we're proud of and then have an event in the next 3 or 4 years.
Love it. Where can people find ProLete and follow the journey and follow you?
Yeah. No, that ProLete Labs, ProLete-labs.com is the website. And then, from an Instagram standpoint, please jump on. We're getting so much content. I was at the University of Portland yesterday, and these college kids have so many awesome ideas for content as far as we had one where the hitter or the batter is, the pitcher's having a hard time so the catcher goes out and the pitcher starts to say, I'm having a hard time, arms a bit sore, and he just puts his finger up to his lips. He's like, stop. He dumps some ProLete in his mouth, dumps some milk, and goes out and throws 3 strikes and punches the guy out. So, man, we're having so much fun. So, content, give us some advice. Happy to send some packets out, pre-order online. We'll be going live probably in the next, we'll do a huge product release in the next couple months. But pre-orders now on their way, and give us feedback, give us some content. We're all ears about getting better every day.
Yeah, love it. Well, like I said, this is the best protein powder I've tasted. Passed my son's test, and I just love that I can mix it with food.
Yeah.
I know I can mix it in the morning with my oatmeal if I wanted. If I'm in a rush, that's been one of the biggest struggles I've had is I have a small window of time to eat. I want to just mix protein powder with something, and now I finally can. So thank you for that. I'm very excited.
No, I love it. That's a big testimony coming from you. I mean, you're in this world dealing with some of the
that's no BS. Like, that's just my experience. I mean, I would force it down all powdery and gross. And I've been enjoying my bowl before bed at night of that with my Greek yogurt and the berries. It's been phenomenal. So it's my favorite thing to have before bed now. So thank you.
Better than ice cream.
Yeah, 100%. And I don't feel as bad.
Exactly.
I eat the ice cream and it's enjoyable, but I feel horrible. So exactly. I've been sleeping great. So thank you. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
So check it out. I'm going to tell you, when it hits the marketplace, you want to get your hands on this. Great for athletes. And again, I think great for people on GLPs. Like, that's the thing that as I was taking it really hit home. It's not just my athletes, but people on GLPs. I think it could be a really good scenario for you guys as well to get that extra 20 grams of protein in, or mix it with something like Greek yogurt or cottage cheese like Jason and I do, to get extra protein in to hit your goals to help maintain your muscle mass. So, man, thank you for Jason. Actually, you flew down today from Vancouver just to come in here before you went to see your son's your son has last baseball game coming up.
It's the last series.
Last series, yeah.
We're San Diego. So
I appreciate you flying in early to come do this.
Absolutely, man. We've known each other for a long time, and you've been really impactful for my kids, and for Jake to be able to be USA Baseball and Jordan USA Soccer at an early age. They bought into the nutrition, the macros.
Yes, they did.
That you taught them.
Yeah. That was pretty awesome. That's pretty rare. With how young they were when I started with both of them, that is super rare. So it's cool to see the trajectory they've been on. Yeah,
it matters. I mean, you've done it with high levels people. I mean, sports.
Yeah. Well, what's Jake now? Last I saw Jake, I didn't feel too small next to him. I know he's big enough now. I feel tiny next to him. He's what, 220ish or something like that, or 205?
6'4", 225.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, I'd be a nitwit next to him.
Throwing on a lot of weight. I don't mess with him anymore. We go on vacation. We're going on vacation next week, and we'll go to the gym. He's like, "Hey, Dad, let's work out."
No. I'll watch.
Yeah.
That's so awesome, man. Well, hey, thank you for coming down early and taking the time to swing in. It was great talking with you, man. Thank you.
A lot of respect. Thanks, bro.
All right. Take care.
Thank you.